So, good morning students. So, we have to discuss about the operating system software subject. In this operating system software, first of all, so we have to learn about computer system architecture. So, that means what is the computer? Computer word comes from the compute word. So, that means we have to use the calculation. Compute means calculation. So, computer is an electronic device or machine which can perform arithmetic operations. Those are called addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. like that. And also logical operations like comparisons with a very high speed. These are the calculations. The next, what is the computer? Computer is also called a data processor. It's an electronic device. It is a machine. So, because what will be the data processor? It can store, process and retrieve data whenever desired. So, that means the computer is a data processor. It can store, process and retrieve data whenever desired. The next, so in layman's language, it's an electronic device that makes performing any task very easy. In this computer, the central processing unit executes each instruction provided to it in the series of steps. These series of steps are called machine cycle and means it is repeated for each instruction. In this machine cycle, we have to involve the following steps. Those are called fetching of instruction, then next decoding the instruction, transferring the data, executing the instruction. These are the steps involved in the machine cycle. The next, computer system has in generally basic 5 units. 5 basic units. These are called input unit, output unit, storage unit, arithmetic and logical unit, control unit. Okay. So, first of all, we have to discussing about input unit. What is the input unit? So, input unit in this computer, it will be used to process the data according to the instructions given to it, and it will produces the results. The input unit is used to feed the data as well as instructions to the computer. Commonly, the input devices are in generally keyboard, mouse, scanner, joystick, etc. like that. So, it performs the instructions. What are the functions will be performs the input unit, which accepts or reads the list of the data and instructions from the user and converts these data and instructions in computer acceptable form. Then next, it will supplies the converted data and instructions to the computer system for the further processing. This is the information about the input unit. So, the next, memory storage unit. This is the basic function of this unit is it will stores the data and instructions and final results in this system so that it can deliver them in the demand of the user. So, this is the important feature about the memory unit. The data and instructions are transferred to other computer units or devices from this main storage of the unit. So, under this supervision of the controlling unit, it will also referred to as a primary storage of the computer system. So, first of all, it will be stores the data and instructions inside of this memory unit. This will be divided into two types, primary storage, secondary storage. Primary storage is the direct access storage device. It consisting of number of storage locations. In this storage, each one has a unique number. These are called the storage addresses. The system assigns a unique location to each data element. once the data is assigned in this location, the system accesses directly by means of address in the particular storage locations. The primary storage types are called RAM, ROM, cache memory and virtual memory. RAM, random access memory. Okay. Next, ROM, read only memory. Then next, cache memory. Next, virtual memory. These are the various types of primary storages. So this is the temporary storage. RAM is the temporary storage area. The next, secondary storages. The data and instructions in the primary storage of the RAM are temporary in the nature. They are erased automatically as soon as the power is switched off. The next, in the secondary storage of the computer system, that will be stored data permanently. So this is the permanent storage. Primary storage is the temporary storage. The next, secondary storage is the permanent storage. The user can access the data from secondary storage whenever you require. The next, common secondary storage devices are floppy disk, hard disk, compact disk, magnetic tape. These are the permanent secondary storage devices. Data will be stored permanently in these secondary storage devices. The next, so coming into central processing unit. Central processing unit considered as brain of the computer system. It's also called the microprocessor. It is very fastest and costliest unit of the computer system. All the major calculations and comparisons are made inside of this CPU. CPU converts all the supplied input into the required output as per the instructions supplied by this user. The performance and the speed of the computer mainly depend upon the type of microprocessor speed. In this central processing unit, a temporary storage location is known as register. This is the temporary storage location inside of the central processing unit that is called register. These are used for storage of smaller data. That means it will be stored the data in the 64 bits manner. Registers are being used for faster data supply to processor for processing. The number and size and the capacity of the register in this central processing unit can affect the processing power. So this is the central processing unit working nature. This is the main unit of the computer system. This is the brain of the computer system. So what are the components of this central processing unit? The main components of this central processing unit is control unit and arithmetic and logical unit. These two are the main units of the central processing unit. First one is control unit, next one is arithmetic and logical unit. So we have to discussing about the control unit first. This control unit is a major component of the computer which helps in the functioning of the central processing unit and in the turns runs the whole computer. Control unit will be given the major role in the central processing unit. Control unit works as a supervisor or monitor in this system. This is the coordinator of the entire system. It supervises or the controls all the activities of various functional units of the entire computer system. So it transfers the required instructions from the main memory and also interpret them and then sends them to the arithmetic and logical unit for further processing. So that means it will be fetches the instructions from that main memory and also sends to the ALU for the further processing. So it controls the execution of all the instructions in the sequential order. Next, it will work as a central nervous system for the computer. it controls the flow of data to and from the main memory. It controls the flow of data and it will be from the main memory. And also it sends and receives control signals from various peripheral devices. So peripheral devices means input output devices. It receives all the control signals from input and output devices. So this is the overall coordinator of the computer system. So it ensures and data reaches the correct place at the correct time. So the control unit acts as the monitor that tells the other components what to do, when to do, and how to do. This will be tells and acts as a it will be tells and other components what to do, when to do, and how to do. This is the major role of the control unit of the central processing unit. The next, what is the role of the arithmetic and logical unit? The function of this arithmetic and logical unit is it will perform the actual calculations in the computer. So it performs arithmetic calculations in the computer. What are the arithmetical calculations? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And also it will be done logical and comparisons or decision making calculations will be done in this arithmetic and logical unit. Under this controlling of the control unit, the data and instructions stored in the primary storage are transferred to ALU for further processing. This ALU performs the calculations and sends to this intermediate and final results to the main memory. After performing the calculations, it will be sent to the main memory of the computer system. So in this computer processors, some of the computer processors, the arithmetic and logical unit is divided into two distinct parts. One is AU, another one is LU. The AU performs the arithmetic operations, LU performs the logical operations. So overall the arithmetic and logical unit will be done the arithmetic calculations, logical calculations, and some of the comparisons will be made by this ALU. ALU has internally two temporary registers into which the coming data from memory is loaded and then operated inside of this arithmetic and logical unit. This is the main functioning of this ALU. Control unit, ALU, these two units are the components of the central processing unit. It will be done the major role in the entire computer system. The next explanation about the output unit. During of this data processing, computer process the data according to the instructions applied to it and produces the result or output. The output unit is used to provide the results to this user. The common output devices are monitor, visual display unit, printer, plotter, speakers. So these are the output units. Output unit performs following instructions. What are the instructions it will be done? So which accepts the results produced by the computer, they are in binary form. It converts these binary coded results into human acceptable form. It supplies the converted results to the user. Finally, it will be supplies the converted results only to the user, not in the binary coded form. It will be converted to human acceptable form. So it offers features to analyze data using charts, graphs, year-to-year comparisons, etc. like that. So we have to use the output unit. So it performs the some of the functions. So major function of this output unit, it display the information on the screen. Sometimes you will be sends the output to the printer that will be printed on the paper. This is the output unit. Then next, coming into computer system computer system environment. In the computer system environment, so what is the major role of the computer system environment? So first one, traditional environment, then next one, client server environment, then next one, peer to peer computing environment, then next, web based computing. So from the past few years of traditional computing environment have changed. This means this is because of the major improvement in the computing environments will be occurred. So consider this the typical environment. In a few years ago, the environment consisted of PCs connected to the network with the servers providing file and print services. So in the computer technologies increased WAN bandwidth, thin clients, wireless and cellular networking, firewalls and etc. like that. So nowadays, rapid changes are in this technology. Internet accessed internal servers will connected through the network. These network computers are easy to maintain. In front of the traditional computing environment, slow modems are replaced with the high-speed network connections and with support of the printer, clients and servers. The current trend is providing more ways to access these computing environments. Today we have to use speed network connections. So these are available in front of you with the relevant cost. So these inexpensive home users more access to more data. Today traditional computing time sharing systems are uncommon. Today we have to use workstations and also servers. So the next we have to use the client server computing. In this client server computing, PCs have become faster, more powerful and cheaper. Designers have shifted away from centralized system architecture. Here, terminals connected to these centralized systems are now being supplanted by personal computers. So, in the centralized systems, so many of today's systems acts as the server systems. So, to satisfy requests generated by client systems. This form of this specialized distributed system called the client server system. Distributed system is called the client server system. So, in generally, these are categorized into two ways. One is the compute server system, another one is the file server system. These two are the categories in the client server computing. So, clients will be connected to the server is the compute server system. Compute server system provides an interface to which a client can send a request to perform an action. So, for example, here read the data. In this response, the server executes that action and sends back the results to the client. So, this is the working nature of compute server system. A server system running a database that responds to client request for data in an example of such system. But in the case of file server system, it will be provides a file system interface where clients can create, update, read and delete files. In this example, in this system, so for example of this system is the web servers. Web server that delivers files to clients running through the web browsers. This is the major example of the file server system. These two are the general categories of the client server technology. So, we have to use another computing environment in the operating system, peer-to-peer computing environment. Here in this structure, this is the distributed system in the peer-to-peer system model. In this model, clients and servers are not distinguished from one another. So, all the nodes within the system are considered peers. So, each may act as either a client or a server. So, depends upon this whether it is requesting or providing a service. In this peer-to-peer systems offer an advantage over traditional client server systems. In the client server system, the server is a bottleneck, but in the peer-to-peer system, services can be provided by several nodes distributed throughout the network. This is the main difference of the client server system and peer-to-peer system. To participate in this peer-to-peer system, a node must first join in the network of peers. Once a node has joined in the network, it can begin providing services and requesting the services from other nodes in this area of the network. So, services are available accomplished in the general ways. These general ways are two in the peer-to-peer net computing environment. These two general ways are, one is a node joins in a network. It registers its service with a central lookup service on the network. Any node desiring a specific service first contacts this centralized lookup service to determine which node provides this service. So means this reminder, a communication takes place between the client and the service provider. This is the client and service provider. The next, in the peer act as a client. First of all, it discovers which node provides a desired service by broadcasting a request for the service to all other nodes in this network. The node or client providing the service responds to the peer making the request. In this support, so a protocol must be provided that allows peers to discover services provided by other peers in this peer-to-peer networking. This is the major difference of the peer-to-peer networking and client-server networking. So, in the place of web-based computing environment, so we have to discuss web-based computing environment. PCs are still the most prevalent access devices with workstations handled by PDS, and even cell phones also providing this access. Web computing has increased the emphasis of this networking, increase the networking priority. Devices that were not previously networked now include wide or wireless access. Devices that are networked, you have faster networking connectivity in this web-based technology. That means web-based computing environment, it will be provided by either improved networking technology, optimized network implementations code. This is available to using the web-based computing environment. The implementation of this web-based computing that has given rise to new categories of devices. Those are called load balancers, which distribute network connections among the pool of similar servers. So those are called, the operating systems are Windows 95, which acted as a web clients. Windows 95, which acted as a web clients that have evolved into Linux and Windows XP. This is the Windows XP is the operating system software. Linux is the another operating system software. So we have to evaluate these two operating system softwares, which can act as web servers as well as clients. These are acts like as a web servers, like as a clients. The web has increased the complexity of these devices. They, because of their users require them to be web enabled. This is the information about the web-based computing environment in the operating system software. So students, here we have to discussing about today, first of all, computer system architecture. In this computer system architecture, we have to discussing about the units, input unit or the output unit, storage unit, ALU and control unit. So after that, so I have to explain about computing environment in the operating system environment. Operating system environment. So first of all, we have to discussing about the traditional computing. Next one is client server computing. Next peer-to-peer computing. The next web-based computing. Thank you.